Good evening. Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and tonight's show might be one of the most consequential broadcasts we've ever done. Why? Because in exactly 21 days, Donald Trump makes his historic return to the White House, and suddenly, right on cue, some very familiar faces are reemerging from the shadows. But before we dive in, I want to talk directly to you, our viewers. Right now, we're streaming live, not just on YouTube to millions worldwide, but also on Rumble and X. And here's what I need you to do. Take out your phone. Yes, your phone, and text this live stream link to 5 people that you trust. Why? Because big tech's algorithms can't stop direct communications. They can't suppress a text message between friends. So tonight's show is interactive. We're monitoring your comments live, and between segments, we'll be featuring your super chats and Rumble rants right here on screen for the world to see. Your voice matters, and we want to hear from you. And speaking of your voice, if you're watching us for the first time, make sure you follow us on all platforms. The mainstream media doesn't want you to know what we're about to reveal. Now, let me tell you what we're covering tonight and why it should terrify everyone who cares about freedom. First, why are Fauci, Birx, and their cohorts suddenly back in the spotlight pushing for bird flu vaccines just days before Trump's return? Coincidence? Yeah, since when do coincidences like this actually exist? Then, a CIA whistleblower has stepped forward with shocking revelations about Havana Syndrome and directed energy weapons. The same people who told you it was all in your head. Well, they were lying, and we've got the proof. We're also going to dive into MAGA 2025 and what it means for America's future. The establishment Republicans, the ones who prefer cocktail parties to actual fighting for you, well, they're terrified. Good. And finally, we're going to take a look at the Biden-Harris legacy of failure, including Joe's mysterious absences and Kamala's questionable book deals. But here's the thing, Patriots, bringing this truth isn't easy. The powers that be would love nothing more than to silence us, and that's why we need your support. So check the description below to help keep this show going through your contributions. Every dollar helps us fight back against the censorship machine. Speaking of fighting back, we have our new Mag Avengers merchandise line at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, link below. They are not just shirts and hats, they're statements, and they will tell the world that you stand for truth, freedom, and for America first. We've also launched our channel memberships with 3 exclusive levels, Operative, Commander, and Sentinel. Each level unlocks special perks and gives you direct access to the Next News team. The link to join us is also in the description. Remember, your super chats get priority between segments. We're going to be reading them throughout the show, featuring your voices, your questions, and your insights, because unlike the mainstream media, we actually care what you think. So stick around, Patriots. Text the stream to your friends. Hit those follow buttons and get ready. The next 2 hours might just change everything you thought you knew about what's really happening in America. And remember, you are not just watching the news. You're part of a movement. So let's begin and welcome you to the show. Phoenix Benjamin in the house, and Michelle H. and Alan Atkins, Social Media Currency, Steve S. The gang is all here. Lost in Space and Mary Riesling and Jeremy Olson. Act 1341 is here. Who else is in the house? We've got John Addy. We've also got America Girl. We've got Barry Electronics and James Fay in Cincinnati. We got Sure You in the house as well. Who else is here? We've got Lorraine is here. Lorraine Martin. Ramon Banks is here. And Moose229. We've also got AFBM. Also, something to note. Check this out. This is cool. After the show is over, it's not really over, because we are going to move directly to Luke Rudkowski's live stream. I will be a guest on his show, and I want you to join me there, and we're going to get it all set up so that the stream actually will redirect right to Luke's stream. We're going to get it set up, and you can follow us all there. Okay, so who else? Angel Eyes, Keith Johnson and Oshkosh, AK Audits is here, Dr. Insomnia, Paula McPhee, Susan Gage and Larry, 13B Gun Bunny, Diane Piat, Doing Life is here as well. Who else? We've got Brady Be Grateful, Angel Eyes, Keith Johnson, Sabrina, what's up? We've got Moose and Daydreamer, Robert is here, Ontar, Connor, Jay O'Connell, Bobby Riesling, Carmen Gonzalez from Utah. Robolink is here, never masking up again. Omega Drone is in the house. Antar is here. Deborah Myers. What's up, Deborah? James Snowden is back. Mother Knows is here. Freddie Manna. Also, Mia Ace in Bear Valley, Wisconsin. We got Parmas Dax. Hey, Parmas. We got KNK. Tracy Ann is here. And Patrick and Jean-Paul Tran from Ola, California. Okay. Kaya Storm and Lisa Keel. Something about check out Ashen Forms. Oh, yeah. Ashen Forbes is awesome. I love that guy. Definitely awesome. Check out Ashen Forbes' work on MH370. Definitely eye-opening. Jody Tarak is here. MK3 Daily Quake Feed. Tony's here. Edwin Ramos. Franger Xbox. And Annie Hilton as well. So many people joining us tonight. So we've got news to get to. We might as well begin because we do not want to be late for Luke's show. I know he's watching with bated breath, waiting to find out what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's get right into it, Brian, because the deep state is striking back. Here's something fascinating. And by fascinating, I mean terrifying. Just weeks before Donald Trump's return to the White House, who should emerge from the shadows? Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, and Dr. Wu, all pushing a suspiciously familiar narrative about, wait for it, bird flu. Yes, they're calling for immediate vaccine authorization, new mandates, and yes, even suggesting the possibility of lockdowns. Now, I'm just asking questions here, but have you noticed the timing? The same cast of characters who locked you down in 2020 are suddenly back in the spotlight, and they're not just back, they're already pushing for emergency powers. Coincidence? When has anything involving these people ever been a coincidence? Now, America, what I'm about to tell you is crucial. Just as these health tyrants push for more control, more mandates, and experimental vaccines, it's never been more important to protect your wealth. Back in 71, Nixon took us off the gold standard, and our currency has been devaluing ever since. While they print money for their next health emergency, smart patriots are protecting themselves with gold. So call my friends at Global Gold Investments, 888-700-4148. Mention Next News and receive their 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide absolutely free. Don't let the next manufactured crisis destroy your savings. All right, let's get into it. This just in. The Illinois Review posting power grab, mask mandates return to New York, New Jersey, and California, despite recent pandemic reports citing the truth about it. Here it is. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is back at it again, encouraging Americans to wear masks this season as public health officials in New York, New Jersey, and California reinstate COVID-era mask mandates at healthcare facilities, despite a recent pandemic report that concluded, among other things, the science behind it. In a post in December, on the CDC's official X account, they wrote the best way to reduce your risk from seasonal flu is to get a flu vaccine, but preventative actions like covering your mouth and nose when coughing, sneezing may help prevent those around you from getting sick. Wearing a mask can also provide another layer of protection. Here's the post right here from the CDC, just in time. Don't you love it, huh? Well, Roger Stone had this to say about what's coming next. Democrats and independents like RFK, Gabbard, now a Republican, and Governor Blagojevich, my former governor, who favor common sense, peace, free speech, and holding big pharma and big food accountable for poisoning our children. That is a great fight and the source of the next
are fat. This is a realignment in which those who favor endless war, where our inherent national interests are not clear, who would censor our free speech, not only on the internet, but in all mediums, and who think it is fine for big pharma and big food to do anything they want as long as profits are fat. While at the same time, common sense Democrats and independents, Democrats like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, who is now a Republican, and Governor Rod Blagojevich, and those who favor common sense, who want peace, who support free speech, and think it is important to find out why Big Pharma and Big Food are poisoning our children. That is the great fight, and that is the source of the great realignment.
The great realignment is happening, my friends, and you are all witness to it. Now, if you recall, just a few weeks ago, we reported on this guy right here, Dr. Peter Hotez. And it's like right on cue. He said on day one, right after the Trump inauguration, get ready, because all the viruses are going to come out, like on cue, right after the inauguration. And now Fauci and all them are back in the media. But this is the warning that was given to us just a few weeks ago.
In 2000, here's the reason why we need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5N1. That I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human-to-human transmission yet, but that could happen. It's in the cattle. It's in the milk. And that's just the beginning. We have another major coronavirus likely brewing in Asia. We've had SARS in 2002, SARS-2, COVID-19 in 2019. And we know these viruses are jumping from bats to people thousands of times a year. But there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine preventable
Is it a to-do list here reading porn? You can pause it by now.
Here's the reason why we need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st.
January 21st. That's the day Donald Trump will have his first full day back in the White House. So this is the narrative that's being presented to us. This just in. The Chinese-born woman, Dr. Liana Wen, just called on Biden to immediately authorize bird flu vaccines and distribute millions of doses ASAP. This woman hates her freedoms and should be behind bars, yet the mainstream media continues to give her a platform. Let's listen to what she had to say.
And the second, there are two main things that they should be doing in the days that they have left. The first is to get testing out there. I feel like we should have learned our lesson from COVID that just because we aren't testing, it doesn't mean that the virus isn't there. It just means that...
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we did learn our lesson. We certainly did learn our lesson listening to people like you.
Aren't looking for it. We should be having rapid tests, home tests available to all farm workers, to their families, for the clinicians taking care of them, so that we aren't waiting for public labs and CDC labs to tell us what's bird flu or not. And the second very important thing is, this is not like the beginning of COVID where we were dealing with a new virus, we didn't have a vaccine. There actually is a vaccine developed already against H5N1. The Biden administration has contracted with manufacturers to make almost 5 million doses of the vaccine. However, they have not asked the FDA to authorize the vaccine. There's research done on it. They could get this authorized now and also get the vaccine out and to farm workers and to vulnerable people. I think that's the right approach, because we don't know what the Trump administration is going to be doing around bird flu. If they have people coming in with anti-vaccine stances, could they hold up vaccine authorization? If they don't want to know how much bird flu is out there, could they withhold testing? I mean, that's a possibility. And I think the Biden administration in the remaining days should get testing and vaccines widely available so that at least it empowers state and local health officials and clinicians to do the right thing for their patients.
Dr. Wen, is bird flu in humans super dangerous?
Well, the World Health Organization estimates that in prior outbreaks of the bird flu, that the mortality rate is 52%. 52%. However, in this most recent outbreak, it seems that most cases have been mild, and maybe some people even have asymptomatic infection. But the question is, we don't know what happens when bird flu affects more vulnerable individuals. People infected so far in the U.S. have been mainly farm workers who are working, presumably generally healthy, as opposed to what happens when you get to children, to pregnant women, to older individuals with chronic illnesses. We don't know how deadly, how dangerous bird flu is going to be for those individuals. And again, that's one more reason why we don't want it to spread and acquire more mutations. There are too many.
Oh, yes, they are playing the song yet again. Oh, yes, my friends. Trying to restart the scam with bird flu H5N1. The whole thing is to continue the scam and to inject fear into the American people yet again. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, and Dr. Wu are all back in time for Trump's inauguration. Oh, here's Fauci. I guess he's not doing his interview from behind bars yet, so we can only hope for that. But here.
And chicken. Now, let me tell you the sobering news. The sobering news is that can change because the virus infects more than one species, and we know it can infect pigs.
My goodness.
Pigs are on farms with chickens and with cows, and chickens and cows can infect with their virus a pig, and then a human virus can go into pig, and then you could get a reassortment of a virus that has some of the dangerous qualities of H5N1 and some of the capability of spreading from human to human of a human virus. So that's what public health officials are concerned about, that when you have the circulation of this virus in multiple species, including a mixing bowl species like a pig, you might get a reassortment and a mutation that could make this something we really have to be concerned about. And that's the reason why the CDC says, although currently the risk in general is low, we still have to pay close attention to the possibility that might change.
Do you remember when he said mixing bowl, right? Mixing bowl. Well, I thought the Wuhan lab was the mixing bowl for coronavirus, wasn't it? That's what I recall. And that being said, so the pigs are now, this is the new thing, the pigs are the mixing bowl. But what about other gain-of-function research that we don't know about? Any man-made interventions that are the real mixing bowl, right? See how the narrative's starting to develop already? Yeah, that's how they do it. And then we have Dr. Birx. Oh, yeah, she's back too. Remember her? And her scarves?
But it sounds like it doesn't. It sounds like from what you're laying out, you don't think this country has learned from the COVID pandemic.
All right. Oh, no. We've learned from the COVID pandemic. We certainly have. That's why we can spot this BS from a mile away.
Not a sense of urgency right now.
Our agencies are making the same mistakes they made with COVID. The number 2 principle of pandemic is detect. And the only way to detect for viruses is to test. You cannot see a virus through symptoms. You miss so many cases. Yet we're still talking about flu-like illness.
But it sounds like it doesn't. It sounds like.
Oh, yeah. They are all back, parroting the same message. Take a look at some reactions. It seems we only have pandemics during the Trump presidency. John Rocker, they've been given a green light by the deep state to launch the next pandemic. Here we go again, with the same cast of characters pushing for more control. Fauci, Birx, and now Wu. Let's not forget the damage from last time. No more lockdowns. Trump must resist this agenda. Black Briar 58. Well, they can try, but it will not work this time. And oh my goodness, such timing. Oh, look, Trump will be back in office in days. Better roll out the bulls. Maybe there are a few sheep we can still control. All liars in lockstep messaging. Another one, almost like they're determined to reprise their anti-Trump complaints during a new outbreak. Hammering Trump got them points last time. Gianni POV, Dr. Fauci, the king of flip-flops, flip-flops back to push his next fear campaign. Spare us the combo virus horror stories. We've seen your track record, and trusting you is the real gamble. Hard pass. Here's a picture we'd all love to see. Of course, we know that Bill Gates went down to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I wonder what he was talking about down there. Angry Trumper. These scum need to be held accountable for all these lies they told in 2020 and beyond with respect to COVID. This is what happens when you don't hold them accountable. They come out of their holes and try to do the same thing again, except this time with bird flu enough lies. The stupidity and arrogance of them actually trying this again is hilarious. I'm telling you right now, they're grossly underestimating on how awake the American people are right now. If I wouldn't know any better, I think they're trying to provoke a civil war. Robbie Starbuck, I'm going to go on record now. He says, I don't care if Fauci says combo virus of bird flu, Ebola, monkeypox, COVID is on the loose. I won't comply with any government mandate. I'll use my own good sense to decide what's best for my family. I have a better track record than they do. And then he's quote tweeting the videos of Birx and Wu and Fauci. Nicholas Hulscher, MPH, the bird flu vaccine that she wants approved for humans is called Audens, made by CSL Seqirus. Humans injected with the Audens vaccine died at a rate of 1 in 200, which is 0.5% compared to 0.1% in the placebo group. In one of the clinical trials, this deadly injection must not be authorized for human use. So this is these are the notes from the Audens vaccine that she is pushing. So humans injected with it died at a rate of 1 in 200. How lovely is that, right? Think about what would happen if that was released on a large scale. Alex Jones posting here. Bird flu pandemic is another big pharma hoax. Here's why you should be skeptical. Another deadly virus headline is here, and this time it's about bird flu. The media and big pharma want you to believe that we're on the brink of a pandemic, but let's break it down. Grant Cardone, looks like they will attempt to derail Trump with a bird flu. Would you take the bird flu vaccine? And here's this guy, Link Lauren. The health experts in the mainstream media are sounding the alarm on the bird flu. Here's the truth. Let's listen.
90s. Well, my friends, it's obvious right now the pharmaceutical industry and their cronies in the mainstream media are working overtime to make bird flu a thing. It's like high-waisted jeans or any show from the 90s. They keep trying to bring bird flu back. Now, I took it upon myself to speak with several people in the farming industry who all say this fear-mongering has gotten out of control. They say bird flu, it's been around forever, but only now that we have a new administration coming in are people going on TV and laying the groundwork to shut down the country. Now, what the mainstream media doesn't want to report are the actual facts and the data. So if we look at 2024, we have 65 cases of H5N1. That is the bird flu. Of those cases, 39 were associated with dairy herds, 23 with poultry farms. There's only one serious case in Louisiana. The man is still alive, but he's over 65 with pre-existing conditions and was handling sick, dead birds. Now, this is the part they absolutely don't want you to know. There is zero evidence of human-to-human spread of the bird flu, not a shred of evidence that it can go from person to person. Now, despite all that information, this woman, Dr. Leana Wen, who is Big Pharma's biggest cheerleader, she's going on television and calling for the Biden administration to rush the authorization of a vaccine for bird flu.
There actually is a vaccine developed already against H5N1. The Biden administration has contracted with manufacturers to make almost 5 million doses of the vaccine. However, they have not asked the FDA to authorize the vaccine. There's research done on it. They could get this authorized now and also get the vaccine out and to farm workers and to vulnerable people. I think that's the right approach because we don't know what the Trump administration is going to be doing around bird flu. If they have people coming in with anti-vaccine stances, could they hold up vaccine authorization?
Now, I took it upon myself to pull up this woman's biography. She is the former president of Planned Parenthood. She writes for the Washington Post, and she was a spokesperson for the COVID-19 pandemic, whatever that means. So let's just say she's not going to be speaking at Turning Point. Now, you guys come to my page because I call it like I see it. There is just something about this woman I do not trust. When I look at her, I'm very streetwise, I'm very perceptive. I do not trust her. She even posted a picture in 2022 of her very young children with masks on, saying she was so happy kids under 5 could now get the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines for COVID. I don't know if she has anything to gain financially from Pfizer, but she has received awards sponsored by the company. She has posts praising Fauci as her Lord and Savior. She wrote an op-ed in July for the Washington Post after Joe Biden dropped out, saying, "Thank you, President Biden, for leading us through the pandemic." She's also said horrific, terrible things about Donald Trump's incoming appointees and his administration, but she has no problem with Rachel Levine. So she wants us to get health advice from a man in a dress, not people who actually work out every day and are healthy. So this supposed health expert wants all of us to get vaccinated against bird flu, which can't even spread from person to person right now, but she doesn't want to talk about exercise, eating well, getting sunlight, vitamin D, adequate rest. She doesn't want to talk about those things on television. Now, the mainstream media, most of these cable news networks, they are making billions of dollars from pharmaceutical advertisers. The US and New Zealand, they're actually the only 2 developed nations that allow big pharma ads on television. So someone like Dr. Leana Wen, she is crack for big pharma and the television network. She's going on TV, calling for the authorization of a new vaccine. That's going to put billions of dollars in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies. And the television networks, they're also going to profit as well because those are their advertisers. Now, like I always say, I've never taken a dollar from the RNC or the DNC or any special interest group. The only thing I'm beholden to is the truth. And I would respect people like this a lot more if they went on TV and were honest. Instead of telling us we have our heads in the sand, we're not reacting fast enough, everybody be scared, we could shut down the country, emergency authorization, why don't you tell us there's no human-to-human spread right now? Not a shred of evidence that it can spread from human to human, but you're going on TV and doing this fear-mongering. So in conclusion, when it comes to bird flu, I'm not going to listen to bird-brain people, especially these health experts who have said Joe Biden, he's in perfect condition, he's doing cartwheels in private, we have nothing to worry about, he's not in decline. You people want us to believe you now after lying to us for years. All right, my friends, thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about bird flu. How do you feel about pharmaceutical advertising on television? I will see you on the next one. Bye. Well,
Now imagine this. RFK Jr. has said that he is going to restrict pharma advertising on television, which I think is absolutely necessary. And it would prevent people like Wen from going on and doing a pump and dump scheme for pharma, as you just saw. So we got the mask mandates coming back. We've got Fauci and Birx. But I think what's most troubling is the statement from Dr. Peter Hotez, who gave us that warning that immediately after Trump swears in to the Oval Office again, that we're going to see more viruses.
We need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5N1. That I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human.
So we're watching the narrative develop in real time. We're watching the news media start to spread the fear-mongering. We're seeing the mask mandates come back. So everyone be on guard for what's going to come next. So think about it. They're rolling out the exact same playbook they used in 2020. The fear-mongering, the push for emergency authorizations, the sudden reappearance of the same experts who got everything wrong the last time. But here's what's different. We are awake now. We've seen this movie before, and we know how it ends. The question is, what is their real end game? Is this genuinely about public health, or is it about control? Is it about power? Is it about derailing Trump's return to office? So here's what I want you to do. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us, do you believe that this sudden bird flu panic is a legitimate health concern, or is it political warfare designed to stop Trump's agenda? And while you're sharing your thoughts, don't forget to check out our exclusive Mag Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Show the world you're awake and fighting back. All right. Here we are, folks. We're in a time warp again, back in 2020, right? What do you know? Let's take a look. We got a super chat that just came in from Pete de Leon. He says, to hell with the mask mandates. I am not, and we shouldn't do it again. Continue the great work, Gary. Texas loves you. Thank you, Pete, for that. Our first super chat of the show, 1999. Yes, I'm reading your comments. It's political war. This is BS. I called BS last time. It's an attempted repeat. It's all BS. Crimes Against Humanity 2.0. Red flag. Not doing it. I was awake the first time. No one with a brain would comply. Piss off with your scare tactics. Bird flu is for the birds. Isn't it, though? Okay, let's get to our next topic of the show. Okay. Just a moment. I got to wait for Brian here. Fauci's no longer in office. I'm beginning to think Next News Network is turning into the CNN of the Republican Party. What? Come on, Stacy. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? I don't even CNN of the Republican Party. I'm not sure. I'm a pureblood, says 13B Gun Bunny. Have we forgotten the drone problem? What's going on now? Yeah, David, I was actually looking to see what's going on with the drones. Apparently they took Christmas off. Yeah, wasn't much to sink my teeth into for that story. Okay. Now here's a story the intelligence community never wanted you to hear. For years, they've been telling us that the Havana Syndrome was all in people's heads, just mass hysteria, they said. Nothing to see here. But tonight, a CIA whistleblower who is risking everything to tell a very different story. We're talking about directed energy weapons, foreign attacks on American soil, and a massive cover-up that goes straight to the top. A leaked Defense Department letter, and pay attention to this part, actually admits these attacks are real. Yes, real. The same attacks they've been gaslighting victims about for years. And why the cover-up? What are they hiding? Now, Americans with directed energy weapons now confirmed real. It's time to focus on protecting your body's natural defenses. After age 20, your body produces 12% less collagen each decade, leaving you vulnerable. Unlike typical supplements, our special collagen blend combines 5 critical types for maximum protection. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off, plus receive free VIP health coaching for life and the exclusive ebook, The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin. It's not just about looking younger, it's about staying stronger in these uncertain times. So don't wait, get protected at healthwithgary.com. It is linked down below. Now, you guys remember all that stuff? Those diplomats and agents down in Cuba having this weird reaction. Something was going on. Well, I found this video clip as I was doing my research today. Because Catherine Herridge has come forward with a 14-minute interview with a CIA whistleblower. And I want to go back into the history of this unknown sort of disease or whatever was affecting these people and kind of revisit this moment. And this is from Mike Cernovich posted this May 19th of 2022. He says, "Holy crap, I'm glad Havana Syndrome wasn't memory hold. This was truly an embarrassing hoax, hypochondria, mass hysteria, and deserves full historical documentation." Let's listen to what he had to say in this clip.
You don't have a president talking about exterminating Latinos.
100% pants on fire.
The Havana Syndrome. Headaches and a loud noise. Clearly acts of aggression, acts of war.
Scientists say the sounds were crickets.
The Havana Syndrome. Our enemies might be weaponizing technology, beaming something to hurt people's brains.
The claims are scientifically implausible.
Donald Trump to now investigate a conspiracy theory about COVID coming from a lab in Wuhan.
This theory needs to be investigated, which is what President Biden is doing.
Hunter Biden's laptop reveals emails.
We shouldn't look at it as anything other than a Russian disinformation operation.
The Hunter Biden laptop material is genuine.
The murder of a police officer, Officer Brian Sicknick, was killed in the line of duty. They beat a Capitol police officer to death.
So he's going back through all the disinformation campaign that was from 2022 previous. But here we have more on this Havana Syndrome from the recount. This is August 24th of 2021.
Did U.S. Our heads would pulse.
I was falling over in my room. I thought I was going to vomit.
Nauseous, dizzy.
So debilitating that it feels like your head is being split open.
Havana Syndrome, or what the State Department calls unexplained health incidents, has afflicted U.S. diplomats and spies in cities all around the world. This mystery started in Havana, Cuba, with several dozen patients, and has grown in the nearly 5 years since.
There have been more than 200 reported cases of this.
That number includes families. In one incident, a father stationed overseas, his 2-year-old son screaming as they each felt a mysterious pain. Although some patients have recovered quickly, others suffer lingering symptoms, still can't work, and show measurable evidence of brain damage. This doesn't match any known medical disorder, and a U.S. government report concluded last year that these symptoms are more consistent with a directed radio frequency attack. We're talking about radio frequencies similar to those used by cell phones and Wi-Fi, but it would have to be much higher energy and focused on a target. If these are targeted attacks, neither the Trump administration or the Biden administration has been able to identify a culprit.
Still not sure who or what is responsible.
We just don't have an answer yet.
These incidents have hit Americans in hotel rooms, their homes, even a White House official last year as he walked to his car. The U.S. reportedly has geolocation data placing Russian spies at the sites of some of these incidents, and Russia has experimented with microwave weapon technology. And because many of the victims are CIA agents engaged in counter-Russian espionage, the U.S. has reason to suspect Russia is responsible, allegations they call fake, and mocked through state-controlled media.
Migraine. Every time you cough, it was Russia.
If these are radio frequency attacks, we don't know what the weapon is. The U.S. military does have some directed radio frequency weapons, like this crowd control heat ray, but it only makes skin feel hot. It doesn't cause the symptoms associated with Havana Syndrome. And time is ticking for U.S. intelligence to solve this mystery, because, as Senator Jeanne Shaheen put it,
I fear that we're going to see more of these kinds of attacks in the future, and we need to be prepared for them.
So that was from back in 2021. And now we have a whistleblower who's come forward. Let's take a look at this. This is from April of this year. This is Real America's Voice. This is Stinchfeld Tonight.
Enemies of the United. So I have had a few days to digest this 60 Minutes piece about direct energy weapons being used by possible enemies of the United States on federal agents, CIA agents, State Department workers. They call it Havana Syndrome. I am convinced that this is a weapon being used on American citizens and American federal workers. I'm not so convinced of who is using that weapon. Now, 60 Minutes wants you to believe that it's Russia, and they provided a lot of evidence to show that it could be Russia.
Now, I'm going to pause this for 1 second, because it's like every single time there's some kind of a problem, they always roll out Russia, Russia, Russia. And I think it's losing its effect, especially on me. I mean, look what they did to Donald Trump. For years, it was the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. And right now, we have a conflict in Ukraine that we're continually pumping billions of dollars into. And that is a proxy war with Russia. How many more excuses do they want to go and have a hot war with Russia, to escalate the situation to World War III scenario with Russia? Right? How many more reasons? Roll out the mainstream media, talk about directed energy weapons, targeting diplomats and CIA agents, blame Russia. So here we have, this is from November of this year, November 29th. This is from the Epoch Times. There's some state actor or non-state actor who's using directed energy weapons to hurt people. I've been told it was the Russians. Gary Nolan was told the Russians are behind Havana Syndrome. Now, I take that with a grain of salt. Now, before we get into the whistleblower, this is the big news today. Let's listen in here.
Was contaminated. I then got involved with, 3 or 4 years looking at these individuals, and it turned out, without going into the full history of it, that the majority of those patients that we had were actually the first of the recognized, or what I would think of as recognized, Havana Syndrome. So Havana Syndrome has been in the news recently. The CIA tried to downplay it, but now the NIH has come out and said, yeah, it's real, and we were wrong. The study we did previously was contaminated and a bad study. And the government has gotten deeply involved with it, and there's probably some state actor or non-state actor who's using energy weapons to hurt people. I mean, it's not a fabrication.
I think the Cuban government was supposedly.
I think they were they were probably, if not doing it, aware of it, and it was imagined, and I've been told that it was the Russians. We have our own energy weapons, just a microwave device that shoots in a direction. There's nothing science fiction about it.
Yeah.
I then got.
Okay, and then we also have this. This is from Jesse Waters in April.
After a 60 Minutes, House Republicans are investigating Havana Syndrome after a 60 Minutes report pinned the alleged attacks on Russia. The report claims Russians are using a futuristic technology that shoots waves of energy through a person's ears and into their brains, causing catastrophic brain injury. The attacks, they say, have been targeting federal agents and members of their family, both overseas and here on American soil.
Inside my right ear, it was like a dentist drilling on steroids. That feeling when it gets too close to your eardrum, it's like that, times 10. It was like a high-pitched metallic drilling noise, and it knocked me forward. It felt like I was stuck in this state of disorientation, not able to function, what is happening, and my whole body was pulsing.
Felt like it.
So, this is what we're leading up to. Disclosure Party, the CIA claimed Havana Syndrome isn't caused by foreign adversaries and tried to cover it up. Reporters need to closely examine the persistent dishonesty from U.S. federal government and start asking questions about why they refuse to declassify information about UAPs. Okay. I don't know if UAPs are involved, but here is Catherine Herridge 5 hours ago. White House intelligence community is accused of gaslighting Havana Syndrome survivors. A March 2024 Defense Department letter obtained by her team validates their experiences. We believe your experiences are real, wrote BG Shannon O'Hara, then of the DoD AHI cross-functional team. Rest assured, we're continuing our efforts to investigate the cause of AHIs and care for and treat you with respect and compassion. Here is the letter that was presented. And of course, now a whistleblower has come forward. Whistleblower claims CIA covered up foreign involvement in Havana Syndrome attacks in a revealing interview. Imagine that. The CIA and other intelligence agencies have continually downplayed or outright denied the cause and effects of anomalous health incidents, AHIs, commonly known as Havana Syndrome, according to a whistleblower with Catherine Herridge. Whistleblower comes forward. Former intelligence officer claims career-ending injuries caused by foreign-directed energy weapon. This is the video that was sent to me this morning by my friend Tom, sounding the alarm.
It's a cover. You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon.
The intelligence community has attempted to thwart congressional investigative efforts to uncover the truth at every turn. That sounds like a government cover-up.
It's a cover-up, and it's terrifying, and it should be terrifying to all Americans.
The new congressional report found it appears increasingly likely that a foreign adversary is behind these injuries. Vertigo.
Yes.
Eye tracking issues.
Yes.
Traumatic brain injuries.
Yes.
Did the CIA gaslight you?
Me and every other AHI victim. It was designed to make us think ourselves are crazy and question our own injuries.
Is it reasonable to think that the intelligence community doesn't want to acknowledge a foreign adversary?
Yes.
This Defense Department letter is significant.
Yes.
We believe your experiences are real. What explains this disconnect? We have a Defense Department letter, and yet the intelligence community, the CIA, says there's nothing to see here.
The brave people of the Department of Defense willing to stand up to the CIA. If they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? And that's scary.
The intelligence community has attempted to thwart congressional investigative efforts to uncover the truth at every turn. I mean, that sounds like a government cover-up.
It's a cover-up, and it's terrifying, and it should be terrifying to all Americans.
Now requiring the aid of a service dog, just a few years ago, this retired CIA officer handled national security missions, which remain classified to this day.
At that time, what was your portfolio?
I am not at liberty to share that.
Alice, an alias, is speaking out for the first time about debilitating injuries reported among hundreds of U.S. government personnel.
The new congressional report found that it appears increasingly likely that a foreign adversary is behind these injuries. Your reaction?
Thank God they're saying it. Thank God they were brave enough to stand up to the CIA.
The Republican House report accuses the intelligence community leadership, the CIA, and the Director of National Intelligence of shaping a politically palatable conclusion.
If they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? And that's scary. That's where it becomes like more real.
A decade ago, this national security memo confirmed intelligence about a high-powered microwave system weapon that may have the ability to weaken, intimidate, or kill an enemy over time. Nicknamed Havana Syndrome after a cluster of cases in Cuba, the mysterious cognitive and neurological symptoms strike diplomatic, intelligence, and military personnel.
You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon. My ear started hurting. I started having vertigo. The room was spinning. My head started pulsing. Like, it hurt so badly. And I had a ton of pain in my left ear. And my ears started ringing. And I thought I was going to pass out.
The official name is Anomalous Health Incidents, or AHIs. The recent congressional report found they have been reported domestically as well as abroad, including Austria, China, Colombia, Georgia, Germany, India, Poland, Russia, and Vietnam.
I was serving in Africa, and I experienced an anomalous health incident in my home on a Saturday night, and I heard a weird noise. It was a really weird sound that I'll never forget it. And after about a second or two, I felt it in my feet, kind of like the reverb from a speaker.
So you're feeling a vibration.
I heard a noise, a weird noise, and then I felt it.
So what do you think the weapon looks like?
I think that there are probably multiple weapons. I think there are weapons that can be fit in backpacks, ones that can be fit in the trunks of cars, ones that can be planted at a position with line of sight to people from across the street.
Based on our investigative reporting, many victims were assigned portfolios linked to Russian interests, from cybersecurity to election interference and disinformation. Others had specialized language skills.
This government record says that you have a traumatic brain injury.
I believe the Russian GRU came to my house late at night and took me off the battlefield.
Russian intelligence.
Yes.
Alice's injuries are so debilitating, she needed multiple breaks during our interview. At times, she wore dark glasses to blunt the studio lights.
Wow. Let's talk about the symptoms you've experienced. Ringing in the ears.
Yes.
Vertigo.
Yes.
Head and ear pressure.
Yes.
Eye tracking issues.
Yes.
Cognitive difficulties.
Yes.
Traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
Taken all together, is it a struggle every day?
Yes. I never thought I'd be retired in my 40s.
Medically retired?
Yep.
Do you feel like your old self died the day of the attack?
A little bit. You know, I was paid for my brain. I was paid for my ability to write well and to write for the president. I was paid to meet with foreigners and to get information that would help advance U.S. security objectives. And I can't do that anymore the way I used to. And that's one of the hardest parts.
As cases spiked in 2021, the same year Alice says she was attacked, multiple sources told us CIA Director Burns said privately that it was his personal belief Russia was behind some of the attacks.
Has CIA Director Burns, based on your experience, tried to do the right thing?
I think he's a really good person at his core. I think he was being honest when he said he thought it was Russia. You know, he is a Russia expert. He was the U.S. ambassador there. I mean, I think it's a sign of like how political this is that even he fell in line.
While experts uncovered evidence suggesting a weapon, in 2023, the intelligence community took a controversial position that it's very unlikely a foreign adversary is responsible.
If I
Unlikely.
received,
So it's unlikely, or is it Russia? It's the same thing like we got with the drones. Like, oh, it's the government. It's not the government. What's going on here? I mean, is this another massive psyop from the CIA carting out this whistleblower to do an interview? I don't even know what to believe anymore. Let's continue.
the finished paper on my desk as a team chief, I would have sent it back to the analyst and said, you have to start over again. It didn't meet any of our most basic tradecraft standards.
Was the 2023 report a slap in the face?
Completely.
Was it demoralizing?
Yes.
Humiliating?
Yes.
Was it a betrayal after you pledged to serve your country?
Yes. I miss my colleagues and I miss the work every single day. It was really tough work.
But you love the work.
I loved it.
Merriam-Webster defines gaslighting as psychological manipulation that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts. Did the CIA gaslight you?
Me and every other AHI victim.
Was the CIA gaslighting designed to hurt you?
It was designed to make us think ourselves are crazy and to question our own injuries.
Did you expect more from the CIA?
100%. We swore this oath, and every day I watch them continue to deny people's humanity and their injuries.
Is it reasonable to think that the...
I'm sorry, but we're talking about the CIA here. Sorry.
Intelligence community doesn't want to acknowledge a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Because then they would have to do something.
Yes. And it's complicated with Russia, right? One theory we bet around is it possible that's Russia and China? Is it possible that, one country created it, sold it, or gave it to another country?
While the CIA still questions the cause, the Labor Department does accept Alice's traumatic brain injury as a work injury. Alice qualifies for limited compensation through a law called the Havana Act.
It is a full-time job to try to get medical treatment, and is another full-time job to try to handle the bureaucracy of trying to access benefits. I've gotten over $100,000 in out of pocket for this.
$100,000?
Because none of these places take health insurance. And if they're experimental, which we need, the reality is a normal physician cannot help us. This is different. AHIs are much more complicated, and we're basically like ticking time bombs, Catherine. I've already started having to go to funerals. Friends of mine. My friend that was with me the day I got my dog has already passed away. A fellow AHI survivor of a rare form of cancer. I have friends in nursing homes. I have friends with dementia and Parkinson's. In some ways, people have a heart attack, and if you don't die of it, we know how to fix a heart attack. We don't know how to fix this.
According to these heavily redacted government records, after Alice was medically retired, the CIA pulled her security clearance, citing psychological conditions.
It sounds like retaliation.
Yes, my lawyers also believed that as well.
Did CIA treat women officers differently?
Yes.
I've done some reporting where I've heard complaints that female officers were told, do you think you're having problems because of your hormones?
Yes. Yes. It's like we're in the 1950s. Pregnant, they brought up, could you be pregnant? Are you upset because you're not pregnant? Is it hormones? Is it menopause? Is it perimenopause? Do you have an anxiety disorder?
Were any of the men asked if their hormones were to blame for their symptoms?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not saying that men have been treated well, but nothing to the extent. There hasn't been a systemic action against them.
After recent government studies found no medical explanation for their symptoms, a senior military official sent this letter obtained by our investigative team that validates their experiences and reaffirms a commitment to identify the cause.
This Defense Department letter is significant.
Yes.
It states, "We believe your experiences are real, and we are unwaveringly committed to continue to provide quality care for you and those who are eligible."
The Department of Defense believes us and has actually gone to bat for those of us from across the U.S. government. I would not be getting care if it wasn't for senior DoD leadership.
What explains this disconnect? We have a Defense Department letter that says, "We believe you," and yet the intelligence community, the CIA, says there's nothing to see here.
The brave people of the Department of Defense that have worked on this issue and were willing to stand up to the CIA.
Is it fair to assess that the CIA, the intelligence community's motivation, is that this story is bad for recruitment? This story is bad for retention.
This is true. I don't know if that's why they're doing it, but this is terrible for recruitment and retention.
After so many years of quiet advocacy, why come forward now?
Because the CIA is betraying, and not just betraying, but like making friends of mine and my life a living hell. I want them to stop denying what is happening to us, and so there can be opportunities to collect the information that we need so that we can prevent this from happening to more people.
Will a Trump-Vance administration make a change?
I really hope so.
What would the change look like?
I'm not sure, the phrase cleaning up the swamp, is thrown around a lot in DC, but at the bare minimum, I do not believe that those people that were involved in the earlier reports should be allowed to touch this. I think they need to actually recuse themselves or should be replaced.
You know what the CIA is going to say. We're so sorry some of these former employees are struggling, but we don't see that there's any there.
They're also going to say that we take every reported case seriously and we're committed to taking care of our people. And that's what hurts so much. Because they're not.
In response to nearly a dozen questions, a CIA spokesperson said the agency has a profound obligation to care for its people, and the intelligence community findings do not call into question the experience and real health issues that U.S. government personnel and their family members, including CIA's own officers, have reported while serving our country. So, what do you guys think about this? I mean, there's a long history here. This has been going on for a while, and it's been in the media. You got the congressional report, and now you have this whistleblower coming forward claiming the CIA covered up foreign involvement in Havana Syndrome in the interview with Catherine Herridge. And I question any time they continually point the finger at Russia, and then they cite political reasons, XYZ, I don't know. But the implications are staggering. All right? Perhaps we do have foreign adversaries targeting American personnel with advanced weapons, but our own intelligence agencies work overtime to discredit the victims. It's not just a cover-up, it's a betrayal. And now as more whistleblowers step forward, the question isn't just who's behind these attacks, but who is behind the cover-up? Who benefits from keeping Americans in the dark about these weapons? So here's what I want you to do. Go down to the comment section right now and tell us, if our intelligence agencies would cover up foreign attacks on American soil, what else are they hiding from us? What other threats to our national security are being swept under the rug? And while you are waking up others to this truth, show your support with our new MAGAvengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, link below, because the truth can't be silenced. Wow. Unreal. I don't know who to trust anymore. You got a CIA agent coming forward with this stuff, right? Is she a plant too? I don't know. You just can't trust anybody anymore. Let's see here. What are you saying, Brian? Okay. Let's go. Next topic. Okay, Brian, I got you. Whoa, an early show, says Jay. Yeah, because we're going to be going live with Luke Rutkowski shortly after this program. I believe her story is possible So much classified it's impossible to know for certain. You can take your mandate and shove it, says Jay. Government likes to use this as a test subject. Trust in God, says Gus. I don't trust anyone, says Dehydrated Nurse. Deb Noble, yes, exactly, Gary. Keeping the faith. The only reason they would cover this up is because they plan on using it on the population. I certainly hope not. Okay, Brian, you ready? All right. Tonight, we are witnessing something extraordinary. While the establishment media obsesses over Trump's social media posts, something much bigger is happening. Trump's incoming chief of staff, Susie Wiles, has just ordered all nominees to go silent on social media before Senate confirmations. Why? Well, because they're not playing games anymore. This is about action, not tweets. We're also seeing what the formation of what Roger Stone calls the golden age of American prosperity. But here's what gets really interesting. It's not just about Trump. It's about a complete rebalancing of power. The weak-kneed establishment Republicans, well, they're terrified, and they should be. And Patriots, as we prepare for America's restoration, let's talk about your health. Nearly half of all adults in America have high blood pressure, but only 1 in 4 have it under control. And that's why I trust this powerful formulation that helps manage blood pressure naturally. It's packed with white mulberry leaf and cinnamon bark powder, clinically proven to support heart health and balance blood sugar. Visit boostwithgary.com for 40% off during their holiday special. Take control of your health as we take back our country. That's boostwithgary.com. It is linked down below. Okay, so this is just breaking now. We're finding out, Officer Lou posted this, that all of Trump's nominees must stop posting on social media ahead of the Senate confirmation hearings. This is a direct order from the incoming chief of staff, Susie Wiles. Now, I wonder what is the reason behind that? Wanting them to all go silent. And it's my only guess is that because the mainstream media likes to take digs at all of Trump's nominees, and people like to go on X and generate hot takes on the news of the day, that anything that they say could be used against them. She's basically saying plead the fifth, right, on social media. Don't give them any more ammunition so that they could try to discredit you or a position you have. I mean, what's to say they're not going to go back through someone's timeline on Facebook or X or whatever interview they may have given to dig up some dirt, because the nomination process is dirty. We have seen it before. And as we also saw Matt Gaetz, he fell victim to the early media pressure, and he had to back out, shuffling of the deck. And we saw now Pam Bondi, she's stepping into the fray for that position. So I think what Susie Wiles is attempting to do here is just kind of, y'all just shut up for a minute. Enjoy your holiday. Don't say anything that could be used against you, which I think is smart. We got this too from Amuse 2 hours ago. Polling. America loves a winner. More Americans identify as Republicans than Democrats than any time since the New Deal. Trump is already making a huge difference. Get on the bus or get run over, rhinos. Republicans outnumbering Democrats in America. That's huge. Here we have Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the priorities of the next Congress. Now, as you may have heard, Donald Trump has fully endorsed Speaker Mike Johnson to continue his position. Some people are pushing back. They don't want Mike Johnson to go further. Donald Trump's endorsement obviously holds a lot of weight. But let's hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say.
Working on the budget. Okay, so our top priorities is to get to work passing the agenda. This is the MAGA agenda. This is what the American people told us. They gave us a mandate to do. It's President Trump's agenda that he campaigned on, and people like me, Brian, people like you, many others, how we campaigned all over the country, virtually not just the past 4 years, but you can make it 5 years because we were campaigning for him in 2020 as well. So Congress will come together. We'll be holding committee hearings. We'll have hearings even before he's inaugurated on the 20th. We will be bringing together bill packages. We will be working on the budget that we have to pass. Guess what? by March 14th. Because remember, there was a CR passed just before Christmas. That budget will run out March 14th, and we, the House of Representatives, hold the checkbook. We will have to create a budget that goes through the Senate, the Republican-controlled Senate, and Donald Trump will sign as president. That will happen mid-March. Now, I gave a warning on that, Brian. I said beware the Ides of March, because we have a very slim majority in the House, and we have an incredible mandate from the American people. We have to pass a budget that matches that mandate, matches President Trump's agenda, and we as Republicans have to come together and do that in the House of Representatives. I think we can get it done. I'm a big believer in iron sharpens iron, and I'm ready for any kind of fights we have to have within the House of Representatives, but we will deliver for the American people, and we'll deliver the agenda and from the mandate that they've given us.
Okay. The mandate is real, and it will manifest here. Donald Trump, Roger Stone's been on fire. He's been posting a lot. He posted this. Donald Trump faced down a tsunami of lawfare and the illegitimate use of our criminal justice system. This was at his turning point speech. God, I love Roger Stone.
But Donald Trump faced down a tsunami of lawfare, the illegitimate use of our criminal justice system to damage his candidacy, an endless torrent of lies about January 6th, but he had the grit and the gumption and the courage and the fight to bring his case to the American people, and they didn't buy it. They bought a vision for a stronger, more prosperous America.
Amen, Roger Stone. Here's more about the golden age we're about to enter.
America is about to enter a golden age. It is the age of Trump. It is an age of unprecedented peace, prosperity, security, and justice. This is a testimony to the persistence, to the resilience, to the stamina, to the strength, to the stubbornness, and I mean that in a positive sense, of the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln, Donald J. Trump.
The golden age is upon us, my friends. Here's more.
And Donald Trump and his associates were subjected to the greatest single dirty trick in American political history. That is nothing less than an abuse of power in which the full authority of the United States government and the extraordinary capability of our intelligence agencies were used to utilize what they knew was fraudulent evidence, the Steele dossier, and the false claim that the Democrat National Committee had been the subject of an online hack by Russian assets, and that information had been lagged to the Trump campaign. This is a lie the American people saw through. I was a target in this simply because I am a 45-year friend and supporter of the president. But now when we examine these things, because that is an act of treason, we're accused of being for revenge or retribution. No, my friends, what we seek is a rebalance of the scales of justice so this country can return to one standard of justice, not the two-tiered justice system.
Amen, man. A rebalance. The pendulum is swinging. But yet we have this, posted 23 hours ago by Colin Rugg. Rick Wilson of the Lincoln Project goes on a vile rant against Trump voters, saying they're just a bunch of guys wearing Oakleys with goatees driving trucks around. These guys are horrible. This is the same guy who said that someone needs to put a bullet in the head of Donald Trump. This is the same guy. Remember?
You know, the guy with it's an inevitability that the hyper-populist, non-college educated part of Trump's base, which is the plurality at the minimum, a majority if you take certain arguments, we're always going to be preconditioned to believe that the word immigration or the word visa always in their minds means brown people bad. And so they have this belief that the guy with the GED and his fake Oakley sunglasses, his goatee, and his pickup truck, the universal Twitter bro that you see in every avatar on Twitter, that guy's thinking to himself, oh, well, I could have been the senior software designer at Google if only it weren't for DEI or immigration. It's absurd, but now you see these people that rely on that as a core part of their business, just like Donald Trump does, also, by the way, for service staff at Mar-a-Lago and other resorts. You see this conflict. It's going to eventually, the hyper-populists, they don't really care about the more sophisticated arguments about H-1B or O-1 visas. They care around people bad. That's their whole driving conditioning they've had from Fox for years.
Yeah, that guy's totally irrelevant now. He's just grasping at straws, going on, what is that, MSNBC, trying to get his paycheck from those guys, right? Here we have Tom Homan. This was posted back in December 18th, and he was on with Tucker talking about what's about to happen with the border.
Historic illegal California, San Diego sector.
Yep.
But to go from the most secure border of my lifetime under President Trump, based on data, right? That's just my opinion. That's data. Go from the most secure border of my lifetime to historic illegal immigration in one administration. That's by design. That's not mismanagement.
Yeah.
That's by design.
What do you think the goal was?
I asked that a lot. Why would anybody open the border up? I think Joe Biden's the first president in American history who came in office and unsecured the border. I worked for, 6 presidents. Obama and Clinton took steps to secure the border because they understood you can't have, there's no way you can have strong national security if you don't have border security. You need to know what's coming in, who's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in. Joe Biden's first president came in office and unsecured the border. And people ask me all the time why. I think they see a future political benefit. I think they think these people will be future Democratic voters, number one. Two, but we don't even have to get there, right, Tucker? I mean, when Biden signed over 9 executive orders getting rid of everything we did, he also overturned the Trump census rule, where millions of illegal aliens be counted in all these sanctuary cities, which is going to result in more seats in the House with the Dems and the reproportionate seats in the House.
Can that be undone?
Oh, yeah. I think President Trump needs to get, when he gets back in, he needs California saying
disproportionate census results cause redistricting in the House of Representatives, giving the Democrats an advantage. And of course, they also believe those are going to be new Democrat voters. But Donald Trump's about to deport them all. We're finding out this too. Resist the Mainstream 3 hours ago. President Putin has issued a decree requiring undocumented immigrants in Russia to obtain legal status or exit the country by April 30th, 2025. So Putin is he's on the same bandwagon there. Also, we have this. Just in, Trump celebrates Texas court ruling halting Biden's border wall material sale. Remember that? Yeah, Joe Biden selling off all that material for pennies on the dollar. Well, thank God that has been halted. President Trump responded enthusiastically to a Texas federal judge's order that blocks the Biden administration from selling materials intended for border wall construction. The court also allowed for an investigation into whether Biden's administration violated laws by auctioning the materials. Oh, good. An investigation. I don't think we're going to see any justice from it, though. Trump hailed this as a significant win for national security, ensuring resources remain for future border wall projects. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton commended the decision, emphasizing the importance of using the materials to enhance border security. Some companies that had bought the materials at low prices offered to return them. Gateway pundit the source on that. So that's more good news as we enter into the golden age of America under Trump's rule. 7 hours ago, this was posted. I believe this is a fan account. Remember, in case you are, this is a Tom Homan fan account. In case you are Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, Governor Healy of Massachusetts, Governor Gavin Newsom of California, or another political leader in a sanctuary state reading this, America wants to remind you of something. Harboring an illegal alien is a federal crime. Under 8 U.S.C. 1324, you will be arrested no matter what political position you hold. Anyone in your state needs a reminder? Yeah. Justice is coming. Nancy Mace, it was a quote tweet of Nancy Mace. Harboring an illegal alien is a federal crime. Officials who shield criminal illegal aliens from being apprehended and deported by ICE should be criminally prosecuted. And she just posted that about 24 hours ago. We also have this, Eric Doherty. After the events that have transpired under Susie Wiles' orders, I'm going to trust her judgment on this. Yes, as we stated at the beginning of this report, all of Trump's nominees must stop posting on social media ahead of Senate confirmation hearings. That is an order from Susie Wiles, New York Post source on that. Like I said, they want to make sure that they are not giving any more ammunition to derail these nominations. Here's more from Roger Stone. He says, our problem today is not the socialist screwball Marxist Democrats.
Our problem today are not the socialist screwball Marxist Democrats. Our problem today are the weak-kneed, gutless, feckless, lily-livered, white wine swilling, brie cheese eating establishment Republicans who have neither the guts nor the balls to fight for America.
Oh, I love it. I love it when he says that line because it's so true. The spineless Republicans who have been the biggest problem in this country, the rhinos. Here's Charlie Kirk posting this, more regarding Tom Homan. When deportations begin, there will be a massive coordinated media operation exploiting the first image of a crying woman or a crying baby. We must be ready to counter it with force. I've been warning about this because they're talking about the mass deportations. The media onslaught is going to be relentless. I mean, I'm sure they are getting all their scripts ready, their talking points. I'll make sure you get them at this angle. They are getting ready to capture the mass deportation and create the biggest media firestorm that you have ever seen. If you thought the kids in cages narrative was bad, just wait until you see when these mass deportations happen. When you have federal ICE agents going head-to-head against local politicians who are going to chain themselves to the deportation centers. Oh, arrest them all. Let's listen to this. Oh wait, so he says Tom Homan is planning weekly press briefings to tell the American people about the bad guys. We're going to have to cover this extensively to push back on the narratives that are going to be presented to us. Tom Homan, if he's going to have weekly press conferences, the media is going to spin everything he says, no matter what. Let's listen.
There will be a massive psychological media operation run. And we must be ready for this, everybody. It'll be kids in cages with an exponent. Can you talk about, Tom, about how they lie about this, what we should brace for, and how we need to just keep our head down and do the work and fulfill the mandate the American people gave us?
Well, this I explained to President Trump, this is coming, right? The first crying female, the first crying baby. But you know, we're going to enforce it. You know, immigration enforcement has always been controversial. It's always been emotional. I get it. But we're a nation of laws, and we're going to enforce those laws. If you come to this country illegally, that is a crime. I'm sick and tired of hearing illegal aliens commit less crimes than American citizens. Every illegal alien is a criminal.
Yes, exactly right. That's right.
But look, they've already started. Like, I'll share with you, I got numerous death threats against me. I'm not with my family right now. I had them someplace else. And it's because what does Tom Homan want to do? I'm going to come and enforce the law. They're not going to stop us. So the hate's coming, but we need to control the messaging, right? So I told President Trump that what we need to do a weekly press briefing. Let's show the American people who we arrested, why we arrested them. Let's show us where we arrested them, what kind of bad guys we arrested in that sanctuary city.
There will be a massive psychological...
Could you imagine him standing in there at the lectern with big placards that show the mugshots of horrific criminals that they have removed from this country? I don't know how the media is going to spin that, but we're going to do our best to try to assist in countering that narrative. This is what we do here. What else have we got for you here? Oh, we got some more. Speaking of the, Panama's in the news again. the Panama Canal. Well, we have this from Ben Berquam, Real America's Voice, exposing the UN and Clinton Foundation occupying an old U.S. base in Panama to help supply illegal aliens on their way to America. The Clintons are involved.
You want to talk about a real tragedy? It's right here in the canal zone of Panama City. This whole facility used to be controlled by the U.S. government. It was a military base to protect the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it away, and now it's basically been taken over by the United Nations and NGOs. One of those right here, OIM, Organization of International Migration. They're the same organization that were handing out condoms and birth control to illegal aliens before they came over the Darien Gap into Panama. Rather than saying, stop, don't do it, they said, here's some condoms, here's some birth control for when you get raped on the way. That's how disgusting these organizations are. They pretend to be good, and all they're doing is feeding on human misery. And this entire facility here, almost every single building here now is either United Nations operation. You've got UNICEF on the other side of this building. You've got the UNHCR. Now they have two buildings. That's the refugee side of the United Nations. They've got two buildings because they've had to expand. They got too big for this. And on top of that, you even have the Clinton Foundation out here. These organizations need to be defunded, and they need to be investigated for trafficking.
Okay, he's there on a former U.S. military base, completely handed over to the United Nations and all these international groups, including the Clinton Foundation. Yeah, I think it's time to reclaim our military base and kick these fools out.
Of what the cartel's doing. You can't just blame the cartel. These organizations have to come down too. Not another dime of taxpayer dollars should go to the United Nations, and in particular, not to OIM. While they're sitting here living in luxury, they're inviting people to put their lives at risk, to put their children's lives at risk, to illegally travel out of their country and head to the United States to break into our country.
That's all going to end very soon. Here's more. We mentioned this. Donald Trump has endorsed Mike Johnson for the speaker role. And we also have this. Roger Stone, man. The guy's on fire. Oh, man. Here he is.
Only yesterday, I read a shocking House report that proved that Congressman Adam Schiff and Congressman Eric Swallowswell leaked classified documents during the Russian collusion hoax in violation of the law. And I have sent a full copy of this congressional report to Pam Bondi. If it's Schiff, flush it.
Well, and also, Schiff has been on that list of pardons. I think Swalwell should probably be asking for one as well. Here's the last clip from Roger Stone talking about peace through strength.
The same policy. Liberals and academics have sought to denigrate the presidency of Ronald Reagan, but he was among our greatest presidents. He returned us to the policy of peace through strength. That is the same policy as one of our greatest presidents, Dwight Eisenhower. This is the policy adopted by Donald Trump. We had peace in the world. We had no new foreign wars because our foreign adversaries understood in Donald Trump they had a tough man who did what he said and said what he would do, and he believed in strength and unpredictability as a deterrent.
So we're heading into the golden age. The battle lines are being drawn. On one side, you have the MAGA movement, Patriots fighting for American prosperity, secure borders, and constitutional values. On the other, the establishment Republicans who'd rather sip white wine with Democrats than fight for your rights. But here's what's different this time. Trump is not just coming back to the White House. He's coming back with a plan to drain the swamp once and for all. So here's what I want to know. Okay, the next few months will define America's future. So tell us in the comments, what should be Trump's first priority in office? What swamp creatures need to be dealt with first? And while you're standing up for America first, grab your limited edition MAGA Avengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. show the rhinos who really owns this party. All right. Viv B has just gifted 5 Next News Network memberships. Thank you, Viv. E.T. was one of the first recipients. Right on. Thank you, Viv. How nice of you. All right, we're moving right along because apparently there was some miscommunication, and Luke thought I was going to be on 25 minutes earlier, and I'm supposed to go on his show in about 34 minutes. So we've got to rock through this next segment and then head over to Luke's show. All right, let's get started. What happens when a presidency collapses in real time? Well, that's exactly what we're watching right now. Joe Biden spent nearly a quarter of 2024, that's 89 days, on vacation while America burned. But here's what's really interesting. CBS News, yes, CBS is finally admitting what we've been telling you for years about Biden's cognitive decline. They're actually apologizing for not covering it sooner. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is mysteriously landing a $20 million book deal. $20 million. For what exactly? And, well, of course, the timing, as always, with this administration raises some very interesting questions. So as the pain of Biden's policies continue to hurt Americans, there's something you need to know about pain relief. Medical experts have unveiled canalidine, a 100% drug-free solution that optimizes your body's natural painkillers while the administration ignores your suffering. Over 1 million Americans, including professional athletes, have found relief with this breakthrough. It's legal worldwide, certified drug-free, and unlike the Biden economy, it actually works. So visit trycano.com/NNN, it's linked below, for a special discount that expires at midnight. You have nothing to lose but your pain. Okay, so this just in, we're learning now. U.S. Treasury says its workstations were hacked in a cyber attack by China. CyberSec Intel, U.S. Treasury says workstations hacked. U.S. Treasury Department said Monday that a China state-sponsored actor was behind a cyber breach, resulting in access to some of its workstations, according to a letter to Congress seen by AFP. Why is it always China? Is it because Hunter is taking too many paychecks and they're all looking the other way? Lionel, posting this 2 hours ago, Joe Biden's absences from the White House during his final year in office reveal a troubling pattern of disengagement from the responsibilities of the presidency. According to a Daily Caller analysis, Biden spent nearly a quarter of 2024, or 89 full and partial days, of vacationing. And then we got this cringe, pure cringe. Yeah, if you've been wondering what Tim Walz has been up to, yeah, he's taking the trash out of his house.
Such a nice house. It's the end of the year. Gwen and I are cleaning. Yes, it's empty. It's empty, Gwen. We see that. And we were just mentioning as Gen Xers and late boomers, the idea of throwing away such a nice apple box is really a challenge. So we're starting a new one.
It's a good box.
It is a good box. It's the end of the year. Gwen and I are.
Yeah. Oh, we can't throw away this garbage. It's an apple box. It looks so nice. Yeah, that's what Tim Walz has been busy doing, going through all the trash in his house. Just like we threw them out with the trash, right? And now, Biden's, he's on vacation right now. He's in St. Croix. And apparently he had a press conference, and this is what he had to say.
So much negativism out there. I know you're tired of hearing me say it over the last 4 years. But folks, there's nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing beyond our capacity.
What's negativism? Is that a real word? Do I have to look at this? Oh, and remember that guy from the Lincoln Project? Well, Roger Stone brought this to our attention 19 hours ago. Get a load of this vile load of excrement. Lincoln Project's Rick Wilson predicted that Trump would get wrecked in the upcoming election. Hang this on the Louvre. Immediately, Western Lensman posted this.
Basically about his... Listen, I have a couple of things to think about for tomorrow, everybody. Number one, Trump's going to lose. He's going to lose badly.
Oh, yeah. This was obviously posted before the election. You probably want to delete that, buddy.
he's going to be wrecked. I don't know what the electoral college count's going to be at the end of this, but it's going to get loud and it's going to get hard for him. Their panic is extraordinary. Their events in Georgia and North Carolina are basically about as well attended as a Pokemon card trading convention in ass crack, Alabama. This is a campaign in freefall. It's really, really fucked up. And I have, from a reliable source inside the Trump campaign, that Chris LaCivita was thrown off the Trump travel plane by Corey Lewandowski yesterday. He's denying it to reporters, but it's true. And we've got you got a campaign ending in chaos, and you got another campaign that was able to deploy 90,000 volunteers to knock on 3 million doors. Guys, the better campaign is going to win this one.
Obviously, it didn't work out so well for him or for Kamala. We have this now from MSNBC warning viewers that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are coming after white people. Nick Sortor says, no wonder nobody watches this garbage anymore. Oh, man, MSNBC.
And lazy. America is a land of the free, home of the brave, all that good stuff that Elon Musk was tweeting about. However, please don't come for Americans. And I would like, let's be very clear, I would like white Americans to stand up. This is your calling card, honey. Where's your banner? Because they coming for you. They said y'all white and lazy. That's crazy.
Well,
that's
what
crazy.
I
and
find is interesting.
Y'all would be coming for me.
Well,
I would never say that because that's insane.
That's the point. What you have happening here is the very thing that white folks have said about black people.
I'm sorry. I just want to know, Vivek was born in the U.S.
For generations. Vivek is now saying about white people, and they don't like it for some reason. Oh, y'all not lazy. Y'all not slow. Y'all not stupid. Well, that's what we've been saying for 400 years, and yet here we are. You still want to not read our history or go through our CRTs and all this
is
stuff.
why the great Reverend Jesse Jackson talked about the Rainbow Coalition, honey, and people were uniting across working class, okay? And
okay, enough of the MSNBC garbage. We hear that way too often. But we have this from the Washington Post. Jennifer Rubin, Colin Rugg posting this. Jennifer Rubin suggests Trump supporters don't know how to read during a sit-down with Lincoln Project's George Conway. Man, Lincoln Project is really, I mean, they just need to hang it up. Just go golfing or something.
Why would ABC, Disney, the mouse, who has more money than God, settle with Donald Trump?
I honestly don't know.
You know, I've asked, why would ABC? But people ask me all the time, why is the media so mamsy-pamsy? And there are two explanations. The one is they are convinced that if they would just move a little bit to the right, all those MAGA readers out there, now you'll notice the contradiction in terms, MAGA readers, would pick up the Washington Post and they would have more readers. What is the logical fallacy here? Yes, reader.
Okay, before I let her continue, that's what they think of you. They think you are illiterate and unable to make educated decisions. No wonder no one reads their garbage.
Nothing that the Washington Post could possibly do that would have those people take out a subscription. But they're convinced they're in there someplace.
Well, it's because the mainstream media is dying. It's over. Nobody cares anymore. And we're finding out this, more Ukraine aid is on the way. Mario Nafal posted this 3 hours ago. Revamping America's defense industry $1 billion at a time. Of the $100+ billion sent to Ukraine, $60+ billion is reportedly revitalizing the U.S. defense industrial base with funds flowing into 37 states. See what happens? They send it overseas, and it just comes back, and it feeds the military-industrial complex. And here is the map of all the states that are receiving funds that come from Ukraine, the defense spending. And that's why they want to keep that whole thing going, because they can come back and they can go back to their constituents, say, look at how much money we brought to you and all these contracts for all of our businesses. Yeah, at your expense. And James O'Keefe is at it again. Yeah, he apparently 3 hours ago confronted Robert P. Silvers, former Department of Homeland Security Undersecretary for Policy, left his position following the release of O'Keefe Media's undercover footage of Silver describing Trump's win as traumatic and a crushing blow.
So I'm here in Washington, D.C. We're outside this oyster restaurant. We're about to confront Robert Silvers, the undersecretary under the Biden administration, caught on hidden camera talking about Biden's mental cognitive decline. I'm dressed in a tux. I came from a gala. Seriously, I'm going to confront this guy, and then I'm going to go back to the gala. Come with me. Let's see what he says.
He's taking a break from going to a gala to confront somebody in his tuxedo. Man.
Robert?
Yeah.
Robert Silvers?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
Hey.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. My name's James.
Hi, James.
James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe.
Yeah, the undercover reporter.
Oh, hi.
The investigative reporter. I think that you were supposed to meet with my colleague tonight. And this is you on video, is it not?
It's a really traumatic moment. It was more, I would say, like a crushing moment. I don't really want to talk about it.
You don't
nice to meet you.
You don't want to talk about what? Thank you for what you told to the American people. This is you on video, right? You talked about Biden's cognitive decline as the undersecretary of, what is it? What are you undersecretary of? The only time I actually come to the nation's capital is actually to confront people like you. So this is you on video. I'm going to play some of the video. And you are talking all about Biden, your boss, Joe Biden.
I don't know,
That's you on video talking about it.
what medically it is, because I'm not a doctor, but he has degraded faculties.
Degraded faculties.
What it is like with so many elderly people, some meetings are at good, just fucking all of me.
So I just got to ask you a question. Why not be honest about? Why not be honest with the American people about the things that you told our reporter? We're being kicked out here. He's with the Biden administration.
Yeah, I'll leave all that.
And I'm a reporter trying to ask questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we talk to him a little bit?
No.
Oh no. Is this where he lives or something?
No.
Okay.
James O'Keefe strikes again. God bless him. Oh, and speaking of the truth of what's happening inside the Biden administration, according to the Washington Post, Joe Biden's mad that Merrick Garland didn't wage a more aggressive lawfare against Trump. The Post says that Biden regrets picking Garland to be Attorney General. Wow. They didn't attack Trump enough. And Private Biden has also said, pick someone other than Garland as Attorney General, complaining about the Justice Department's slowness under Garland in prosecuting Trump and its aggressiveness in prosecuting Biden's son Hunter. What a joke that is. And then we have this. Kamala Harris set to receive a $20 million book deal. Connect the dots. This is the exact same amount as her campaign overspent and is in debt. Book deals are one of American politicians' favorite way to launder money. Just ask Barack Obama. And he takes a screenshot. Barack Obama awarded Pearson Publishing $350 million contract to create the Common Core curriculum. Love it, huh? And remember, they lied to us forever about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. We can play that montage in a moment. But here we have CBS News correspondent Jan Crawford calling out the network for failing to cover Joe Biden's cognitive decline over the last 4 years.
Presidential debate with
undercovered, underreported. That would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate.
At the presidential debate with Donald Trump.
Unquestioned. And, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years. And yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election. Yet, still, incredibly, we read in the Washington Post that his advisors are saying that he regrets that he dropped out of the race. You know, that he thinks he could have beaten Trump. And I think that is either delusional or they're gaslighting.
President
American
Biden
people.
has said repeatedly he was sick during the debate June 27th in Atlanta, and he's always been fine, and he leaves fine.
Undercover dinner report.
And he leaves fine? Really? Oh, my goodness. Oh, yes, they're going to continue to gaslight us. Here is a CNN panelist instantly regretting claiming Joe Biden's accomplishments in the Middle East will stand the test of time. Scott Jennings for the win. I love this guy. Oh, this guy's great. The fact that he goes into that Lions Den every day. He is just a wealth of clips for us. Here we go. Let's watch.
I think he's still, look, he showed up for the job. He got the work done. I think some of the accomplishments also in the Middle East and foreign policy will also stand the test of time.
Okay. Accomplishments in the Middle East. Really? I can only imagine what Jennings is going to reply with. I think you already know too, right?
You think the Middle East is in better shape today than when he took office?
Well, I think he got our hostages home. I think that's a big deal. I think it's important.
I'm sorry, which hostages?
He's gotten a number of people home. He was able.
There's still 100 people over there.
Well, there were more than
including some Americans. Look,
wait a
I
second.
think he's going to.
Wait. Listen to her voice crack. Oh, she knows she's being called out. And she, what hostage? Oh, we'll go back.
I think it's important.
I'm sorry, which hostages?
He's gotten a number of people home. He was able.
There's still 100 people over there.
Well, there were more than
including some Americans. Look, I think he's going to leave office in disgrace. The Hunter Biden pardon was disgraceful. He's going to be remembered largely for inflation and for the disastrous Afghanistan pullout. And I think as we continue to, we're just getting the first draft of this now, but as we continue to learn about the massive cover-up that went on, not about his health, but about his mental acuity, to cover that up, the efforts that were undertaken by the White House staff, by his family, not in the last couple of months, but for all 4 years, I think it's going to be a really ugly chapter. It's a diminished presidency because of it. And I think we still don't know the full extent of what they did to try to hide what they've been doing over in the West Wing.
So I think he's still.
No, and it's going to come out. It's all going to come out. The media has been right at the center of covering it up. Here we have, let's see, where's that clip from? Here is incredible montage of the regime telling us Biden's sharper than ever. End wokeness posting this.
President. Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. You know, I can't even keep up with him.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
I can testify because I've been working very closely with this president for the past 2 years. I've been.
Oh, yeah, you're going to testify, buddy. You're going to testify in a court of law.
For 30 years. And I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game.
Joe Biden has vision. He has knowledge. He has a strategic thinker.
The president is focused. He's detail-oriented. He's always thinking about the big picture.
He is engaging. He is capable. He has an incredible record as president.
And I'm often with him on foreign trips. He's at the top of his game. So he has a vision. He has knowledge. He has judgment. He has a strategic thinking.
I met with the president, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he seemed fine to me.
I have complete confidence in the president.
I
have watched him expertly guide meetings of staff and cabinet members. I could not have more confidence in the president.
I would just tell you that I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine.
Yeah, right. It's all coming down. The house of cards is collapsing. And then we got these questions here. Okay, this was on Real America's Voice. I think this is very important. If Biden Inc. committed fraud to get into the White House, are his pardons legal? Sidney Powell, we haven't heard from her in a while. went on Cowboy Logic to discuss about whether any of Biden's actions have been legal. And think about his cognitive decline as well.
The courage to actually wrote it down. I had it here. If Biden Inc. committed fraud to get into the White House, are his pardons legal? Excellent question, counselor.
It is an excellent question, and I think it's one that should be very carefully studied. I don't think any action he has taken in the last 4 years is legal. But does the incoming administration have the courage to actually deal with that and uncover it all? I hope they do. I really hope they do. I think the country, the American people want the truth. They are starved for the truth. And that is the best thing the incoming administration could give them, the truth and fair prosecutions according to the rule of law.
Now, we all know what happened in 2020. And of course, we can go back and we can, examine the case there. But I think you also have the argument of Biden's cognitive decline. And if he even has the mental capacity to know what he's signing when they're putting these pardons in front of him. Yeah. Here is Donald Trump's post from his Truth Social. Do you guys hear about these new photos?
Classified. We got the photos late because it took America First Legal suing the National Archives. You remember them, the same National Archives that said for a couple years that Donald Trump was holding back classified information. They had to sue that National Archives just to get access to these photos. And the people who were blocking these photos, none other than President Joe Biden and President Barack Obama. And so in that lawsuit, they basically said, we'll finally release those to you after the election. Surprise, surprise. Look, at the end of the day, Joe Biden was corrupt. His family is corrupt. They took millions and millions from overseas, including Chinese corporations, which we all know are backed by the Chinese Communist Party. The reason why? They were trying to make their own money using Joe Biden's position in politics because the Biden family never had a business. They were trying to live off the largesse of his access, which was pay to play. But the American people have seen through it. He's been defeated. He's leaving soon. But this goes to show how corrupt the swamp really is.
And think about the reality from the beginning. The U.S. Treasury says workstations hacked in cyber attack by China. U.S. Treasury. Which workstations? Do they have anything to do with any of the transactions investigating Joe Biden? That's a question we need to get to the bottom of, wouldn't you say? And I think we have some more here. Miranda Devine, Joe Biden's pardons are a green light for corruption.
I guess he's broken every norm possible, and he sort of gets away with it because he just lies and pretends that what he's doing isn't untoward, and I guess the media protects him for that. But you're quite right. It's just a sort of a green light for corruption. And that was not what the pardon powers were supposed to be for. And, there is so much going back in the entirety of, I guess, Joe Biden's half century in office. He's broken.
Oh, it's going to be so great when January 20 comes around. Let's just hope that we don't have to deal with any more lockdowns or mandates, because Tom Homan's coming in. The White House announcing another $2.5 billion for Ukraine, and Kamala a $20 million book deal. So what we're witnessing isn't just the end of administration, it's the collapse of a narrative. The media's wall of silence around Joe Biden's cognitive state is crumbling. The cover-ups, the vacations, the desperate attempts to shield him from public view, it's all falling apart. Now, as his presidency limps into its conclusion, they're trying to rewrite history through convenient book deals and carefully crafted narratives. So here's what I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell us what you think will be remembered as the Biden administration's biggest failure. Was it the border crisis, the economic disaster, the Afghanistan withdrawal, or something else entirely? And while you're speaking truth to power, proudly display your resistance with our new MAGA Avengers collection at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Let them know that you saw through the lies. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Okay, what are you guys saying in the chat room? Let's check in with you guys real quick, and then we're going to bounce over to Luke's show because I know he's waiting for us to arrive. Delusional people, says Mary. I wonder what's changed. All of the above. Let's go, Brandon, says Pothead Kenny. The organism of corruption, collapse, and destruction is the media. Yes, the demons thought they said trains and missed out on brains. Biden's biggest presidential mistake was running for president. Catherine says the election being stolen and taking political prisoners in America. Ooh. Annette says there are too many disasters to choose from. Mike says Biden's biggest failure was his term as president. Ooh. Dagmar, the border crisis. Michael, giving billions to Ukraine. Oh, how sick is that, right? What's up, Heather Reeve? Good to see you. I see you waving. Don't crack your knuckles, says Bobby. Oh, you heard that? Oh, you heard that. Kenneth, Ukraine had better keep a close eye on that money because we want it back. Debbie Ruth says open border Afghanistan, EV mandates. I believe that Trump's going to roll back those EV mandates. I think I saw something about that today. The 4 years of BS, says Larry. And people need to be held accountable for it. Paul, Tampon Tim is the uncle that you tell your children not to go fishing with. Ew. Elizabeth, it's been a bad dream for 4 years. Well, thankfully, we're all waking up. Brian, bring up the triple box real quick. Let's check in on the latest that's happening, and then let's get over to Luke's show real quick. I just want to check on the latest news feed stuff. Let's see here. Brick suit, Trump, Elon rift, BTFO. President Trump posts one of Elon's ex-posts on Truth. Okay. This is 8 minutes ago. Anyone of any race, creed, or nationality who came to America, worked like hell to contribute to this country forever will have my respect. So, you know, they are trying to create a rift between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Yeah, we can sit and debate visas and we can debate, you know, the workforce. The reality is we got to get this border secure and we got to make sure that we have unity moving into this next administration. So I choose not to be distracted by that argument. Yes, I understand there's been some censorship issues, but there's also been some accusations that it's not exactly censorship that some of these people had been victim of. It's something actually much deeper, revolving around PACs and donations and violations of one account that triggered the suspension of check marks on other accounts. That's all I can say. So just be aware of people trying to draw a wedge between Elon and Trump. Something that literally everything. Name something that triggers a Democrat. Literally everything. Mike Engelman, just think, 21 days at this time, Donald Trump will be president, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be out, and the golden age of America will be upon us. We will be celebrating. Gabe Gudarini, the media is catching on. Conservatives aren't happy with being told to sit down and shut up. Gabe Gudarini, an Ohio field op representative for Turning Point, wrote in a Tuesday Expos, H-1B issue is going to be the defining issue of 2025, he says. College students who have paid tens of thousands of dollars for job credentials should not have to compete with foreign labor when they enter the workforce. We will remember who didn't stand up against this. Okay, I get it. I totally get it. All right? Yeah, college students who pay tens of thousands, yes, they should be at the front of the line. Bottom line. End of story. Okay. We've got to get prepped for Luke Rudkowski's live stream. So that's our show. Patriots, let's recap what we have uncovered together because the pattern's undeniable. Just weeks before Donald Trump's historic return to the White House, we're seeing the same cast of characters from 2020 reemerging. Fauci, Birx, and their cohorts are suddenly pushing bird flu panic and new mandates. Coincidence? I think we all know better than that by now. Then we learned the truth about Havana Syndrome, how our own intelligence agencies worked to discredit victims while covering up attacks on American soil. A CIA whistleblower risked everything to bring us the truth, and a leaked Defense Department letter confirms what they have been denying for years. We've seen how MAGA 2025 is taking shape, with Trump's team making strategic moves to ensure a successful return to power. The establishment Republicans, the ones who prefer cocktail parties to actually fighting for America, they are in full panic mode, and good. It's about time they realize the party belongs to the people and not the swamp. And of course, we have watched the Biden-Harris administration implode in real time. Yes, 89 days on vacation while America faces crisis after crisis. A suspicious $20 million book deal, even CBS News finally admitting what we've been telling you about, Biden's cognitive decline. And now more than ever, we need your support to keep bringing you the truth. The mainstream media won't tell these stories. Big tech wants to silence us, but with your help, we can keep fighting back. Visit the links in the description to donate and keep this show going strong. And to everyone who sent in super chats and Rumble rants, thank you. Your voices matter, your questions matter, and we are going to keep featuring them right here on screen for the world to see. And don't forget about our new MAGA Avengers merchandise at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Have you checked it out yet? What are you waiting for? It's not just clothing, it's a statement. It tells the world that you're awake, you're informed, and you are part of the resistance against the deep state's agenda. So remember, we're live multiple times a week, bringing you the stories they don't want you to hear. Tell a friend about our show, and better yet, tell 10 friends. The truth spreads faster than their algorithms can suppress it. Yes, 21 days, Patriots, 21 days until we begin to take back our country. So stay alert, stay informed, and stay tuned to the Raw feed. From everyone here at the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. God bless you, and God bless America. We'll see you next time. And remember, follow the stream. We'll be over there at Luke's in just a few minutes.